Viking select Christian Ponder, quarterback, Florida State.
Coming to you now in mid-quality audio, brought to you in part by FNS Delivers. From your Vikings game day headquarters, Great Mandarin at the Eden Prairie Center. It's football talk like you've never heard before. Get ready for America's favorite Minnesota Vikings podcast. With your hosts, Sticky.
I really hated what he did. I hope he starts on fire.
And Bun.
You have gotten naked and are standing right in front of me and are doing thrusts.
It's the Sticky Buns Fun Time Happy Football Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Sticky and Bun.
And here we are.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. After championship weekend, how much of the championship games did you watch?
0. That doesn't mean I
Excellent.
don't know what happened. I mean,
It
relatively.
kind of does.
Let me put it this way. I have no idea what happened in the second game, the Patriots and Colts, except for the fact that they deflated all the footballs, which I still don't I know how it works, but I don't understand why it works. And I know what happened in the first one, the more important one, because the state of Minnesota gasped and then cheered all together.
Yeah, it has been amusing to watch all the enjoyment people have gotten out of it, and I include myself in it. I very much enjoyed that.
We are absolute assholes, but to be fair, it doesn't, even when we have fictitious hopes, right? We're riding high on a wave that clearly is going to crash really shortly, unlike the Packers, who generally ride that wave for a while. We crash rather quickly. So whenever we're riding high and feeling good, we always hear the same things. How many Super Bowls you won?
And they're saying that now, too.
Yeah, and even if we won one, let's say we won next year for some reason. Doubtful. But I know at the beginning of the season, I will predict us to win the Super Bowl.
I was about to say, I'm surprised you went with doubtful now.
Well, because there's so many moves that the Vikings will indeed make to put us in the contention. But, and I believe I'm a Ted head, but even
Is that
if we
what
won...
They're calling themselves now?
Kind of,
Ted?
yeah.
Is that something you've heard before, or
Yes.
are you making this up?
I am not making it up.
See, I really like Teddy. I don't want to be a Ted head.
Yes, you do.
That sounds terrible.
You totally do.
I don't want to be a Ted head.
But even if we won one, and we got really excited about that, we'd hear the same thing. Well, how many do you have? It's ridiculous. It's like a penis contest. Do you want to have a penis contest, by the way?
No.
I mean, I'm willing, if you are willing.
I know you're willing.
But the best phrase I've heard about it, because I have some friends that are Packer fans, and I feel bad for them.
I did honestly feel bad for the one Packer fan I knew and talked to yesterday.
We know what that feels like.
Yes.
Because they lost in Viking fashion.
This was the Vikingest Packer game ever.
Absolutely.
The way I've heard this described, and that's a perfect way of describing it.
The best description I've heard is they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
I like Vikingest Packer game ever.
It's the same thing, because I went into Target with 4.5, 5 minutes to go. They were up 19-7. I think they had just intercepted a pass or something. The Packers did. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, Russell Wilson has 3 completions. And so I felt very comfortable going into Target, not looking. And I walked out, and it was 22-19. And I called a couple people. I didn't call you, because you basically don't exist. Except on Facebook Messenger, which you still don't exist for me. And I said, what in the hell happened? Can you tell me? He told me. Can you describe what happened? How the F does that happen?
Well, it happens when you have a bunch of really, really poor coaching decisions.
Okay.
That set it up so it was very close, and then they decided we don't trust Aaron Rodgers with the ball to win the game for some reason. We don't trust Aaron Rodgers.
The best quarterback in the NFL.
The best quarterback in the NFL. We don't really trust him with the football. So we're going to just run backwards some more. Oh, we didn't complete a very short pass. We're going to punt. And then, the onside kick happened after the punt, obviously.
Sure.
The Hawks scored onside kick, and Hawks recover. And we should talk about that.
Okay.
But then they score another long touchdown. Although I did feel like they went ahead 22-19.
Yes.
Well, actually, they went ahead 20-19 with about 1:44 left, I think.
Are you going to talk about the two-pointer?
I was going to talk about that, too. I was just going to get your opinion on it, because I thought when Lynch broke free, and I forget how long the touchdown run was, it was more than 20 yards.
It was. I don't know either. I would guess somewhere around 30.
I think it was something like that.
Because it was field goal range. He didn't have to go far.
Yeah. I thought with 1:44, and he had broken. I mean, there were Packers trailing him, but
sure, he
was very much in the clear.
Yeah.
I thought he should have went down at like the 1-inch line, just kneeled.
No. I mean, I don't have the statistics. I'm guessing from the 1-inch line or even the yard mark that the odds are probably pretty high you get in on 4 downs.
Yep.
But it's no guarantee.
It's no guarantee, but I really don't like giving Aaron Rodgers the ball back with a minute.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
And the thing is, at that point, you don't know if you're making the 2-point conversion. You might have to consider the fact that a field goal would win the game. I feel like you kneel there, on first down, you don't even try for the touchdown. You just try to keep it where it is.
Sure.
And then you say, okay, we've got 3 downs and Marshawn Lynch. We will get this touchdown, and we will leave them 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. We don't care. I think they still had a timeout at that point. They did.
Well, okay. So here's why I don't like the 1-inch idea. In some cases I may, but I think of it, the amount of turnovers that happened in that game, like the same amount of turnovers that happened in the entire NFL during the season. I feel, and a lot of them coming from Seattle's offense. I don't. You probably should, and you would scream this at the television. Run every goddamn play. You're not going to pass one time in that 1-inch.
Well, I'm perfectly fine with that, and
right.
I would have said that.
But they would have passed. You would have been irate. And the chances of a turnover, because you've already turned over 1,000 times, are so high.
But Aaron Rodgers going down and getting the game-winning score is so high, too.
Absolutely. But I also think...
I mean, this is one I think you could play either way. I have at least not seen advanced stats for this yet because no one ever does it, so we don't have any stats one way or another. I would have liked to have seen him just drop.
And you're supposed to have the number 1 defense at home with the supposed earthquake 12-man, which...
Well, that was hard because half the people left, which is hilarious to me.
True, but if they're that crazy, you just went ahead with 1.5 minutes left. I feel like you should be able to stop them. Obviously, they couldn't, and they went down for a field goal. But yeah, I'm okay with their choice, and I 100% agree that you go for the 2-pointer every single time.
Well, I mean, you had to. It was just a fun 2-pointer.
Yeah.
Because so many quarterbacks seem to get that wrong. They seem to think they're in college where the 2-pointer can go the other direction, so they throw it to the back of the end zone and maybe it gets caught, but more than likely it hits the crowd. Or at least he realized, no, I'm going to throw this in an area where there's a pretty good chance at least someone catches it, because even if it's not my team that catches it...
Wait a second.
He just threw that sucker up. It was a Hail Mary from the 5-yard line.
Hold on. First off, he wasn't anywhere close to the 5-yard line.
When he let go, I think he was close to it.
I don't think he was. He thought he was about to die. I have seen the replay where he is running around like an insane person.
Oh, he was.
And it's like the entire Packers defense is in front of him. I have no idea how that is completed pass and how the F that guy got in the end zone. Even though he was a couple yards away. That should never have been complete.
Oh, no, it shouldn't have been, but I love that he threw it up that way instead of throwing it through the back of the end zone.
We had to. He did the thing you always want, is to give your people a chance.
Yep.
But that is probably the lowest percentage give your person a chance
It really
ever.
was.
That's as low as, I'm just going to shovel it towards the offensive line. Hopefully someone near it grabs it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Vikings lose.
Yep.
Okay. So then they make it. They get to the onside kick.
No, that was the touchdown after the onside kick.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. No, you're right. That was after, because they had to go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, let's go back a little further then. The onside kick.
Okay.
Any thoughts or feelings on it?
I feel like there is too much blame being sent towards this. I don't even remember his name. This backup tight end, because his task was to block. But here's the thing: the ball is coming for his head. I mean, if he ignores it, there's a decent chance it bounces off the top of his helmet or off his back. I understand that it wasn't his original assignment. I understand being irate with him for trying to catch the ball with his face mask. I get all that. I don't have a problem with a player saying, this ball is coming right at me and we need to make a play. I'm going to go try to make this play. Sure. A lot of people seem to have that problem with it because Jordy Nelson was behind him. But like I said, that ball was there. There was a Seahawk obviously very close to it. I don't have a problem with players saying, there is the ball, I'm going to make a play on it. Even, again, if you want to curse at him for failing to make the play, I get it. But I didn't have the problem with him attempting to, even though that wasn't the design plan.
I'm trying to find his name.
I know it's BB.
Brandon Bostic.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him going after it either. And again, if you look at the still picture when it escapes his hands...
You mean his face mask?
Yes. Jordy Nelson is there. I think it's a bit improbable that whoever the Seahawk was it Baldwin? No,
it was Williams.
Williams. It's a bit more improbable, even though he's running and looking towards it, that he catches it. I think more often than not, it probably falls and there's a scrum. But so I don't have a problem with him going after it.
You do have to make the play, though.
You do. But the onside kick's coming, and I know he's supposed to block, but that's why it's called the all-hands team. Yeah. You put people who can block and could possibly catch that ball.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, good job, I guess. Sorry, it sucks.
Yeah. Because we're going to get into some very poor coaching decisions.
Okay.
I just want to thank Pete Carroll for making me happy that he understands that calling timeouts after 2 minutes isn't magic. He started calling his timeouts with over 5 minutes left. Very few coaches seem to understand that's fine, that you can do that. That there is no magic after 2 minutes that, we have to save these timeouts for the 2-minute warning and after that because we're retarded. He called the timeouts because he knew he needed to conserve time, and he knew at this point in time, if I don't call a timeout, I'm losing the maximum amount of time I could lose on any play that I don't call a timeout on.
Well, he was also in a bit desperation mode because
you are, but a lot of teams are in that desperation mode, and coaches are like, I have to save these timeouts. The 2-minute warning you don't call timeouts until it's, maybe 2:30 left. It's magic after that.
Your face was so beautiful impersonating a coach there.
I hate it so much.
You looked
that
completely
coaches think,
lost.
It's just magic to save those timeouts till late. He saved one, which makes sense because you got to save one in case you need to make a challenge call late.
Well, I don't know what the challenges were before, so I don't know if he had one available.
He didn't make any challenges before that.
Okay.
So he saved one, so if there was a big play later, he would still be able to challenge it.
Sure.
But he called the 2 timeouts at a time when he knew it maximized the time remaining. And I appreciate that he understands that the 2-minute warning is not magic.
I am not a fan of Pete Carroll for
I'm not either, but
a multitude
like
of reasons.
That.
Yeah, I would say that what Pete has going for himself is he's a bit more of, I don't want to say realist, but he's more of, this is just fucking football. He doesn't, I don't know if he's smart at football. I assume he is, because he's been on some pretty spectacular staffs, including the Vikings. But I feel like he's more of the organic flow of the game. We need to do this, so we're going to do it. And maybe in another circumstance, he might save those timeouts or be like every other coach. That's not why I don't like him, but there are lots of people hate him, so it's okay. He's an old version of Richard Sherman a little bit, but a little nicer.
On the other hand, holy shit, is the Packers coach terrible. I'm so glad he's their coach.
I didn't watch it, but did it not, from what I've read, did it not look like Mike McCarthy at some point in the fourth quarter called up Brad Childress and said, come over and make the play calls. We need to end this game as soon as possible.
I don't understand what he was doing. Well, first, he had 2 opportunities, 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, and both times he kicked field goals at the very beginning of the game. It's like field goals are not going to be enough.
Well, but it might be.
It wasn't. You need to score points.
I agree. I agree you need to score touchdowns. But it is the NFC Championship against, up to that point, the number 1 defense. Well, one of the best defenses at home.
Which means you need to get points. You have an opportunity there to get points, or even if you don't make it, you're putting them at the half-yard marker.
Yeah, but
and I understand that's not a guarantee, but you need points. This is a great opportunity because even the number 1 defense in the NFL, half a yard you should be able to get.
Yeah, sure, but what happens? You've got an amped up D that is pretty spectacular at home. What happens if you don't get in?
Because then the Seahawks are really in bad spot. You have a good chance of either getting safety or getting the ball back on your side of the field.
Sure, but there's that fictitious thing that we talk about called momentum. And
see, I don't believe in momentum.
I know, and that's why you do this differently. But I can't give them the momentum. I'm okay with the field goals because if that's all you can get, I don't. Even though this is going to kind of help your argument, I don't necessarily believe in their offense, which strengthens your argument because if they're at the half-yard marker, they ain't going nowhere. But I've never considered Russell Wilson elite. I think he's crafty and intelligent. He is not elite, and he certainly doesn't have very many weapons. Their team reminds me a lot of the Vikings team, but actually, well, previous Viking teams. But they have an amazing defense where we did not. And that's why they're in these spots versus we weren't ever there. So if you... My thinking is if you don't trust that their offense is going to do much damage to you, because the Packers' defense had also done well for a bit. Last half of the season they had done well, except against Teddy Bridgewater. then you can. I paused because we were praising Teddy Bridgewater in our brains. At least I was. You were mocking me.
Yeah.
Then you're okay because you can win off of field goals if you can prevent them from going down the field.
I don't think you call offense like you think you're not going to have to, like your defense is going to have a great game. I think you call offense like you expect your defense to have a poor game in general, and defense like you're going to have a poor offensive game. You've got to maximize those opportunities, and the maximum thing you can do there is go for it. And if you even get one of those two, that's 7 points. That's more than they got out of the 2 attempts.
I
mean, granted, if you go for it and don't make it on one, it affects the flow of the game. But I think you need to play that game, especially in the first quarter. Like, we need to score points. Late in the game where it's close and you're like, okay, this gives us the lead, or this puts us in a spot where we have a 2-score lead, sure, fine. But I think early in the game, you say, we need to score points. We need to play to win, not to play to hope.
Sure. Do you think that they were handcuffed mentally because they could not believe that Aaron Rodgers was throwing interceptions and they weren't scoring at will?
See, the thing was, Eddie Lacy was playing really well early that game.
I heard, at halftime or so, he was averaging over 5 yards a carry. This game is just an anomaly to my brain. It really is.
I think after that 4th interception, the stats guys, the gurus and all that say there was over a 96% chance of the Packers winning that game.
Well, have you seen sometimes they break out on Twitter the statistics where it shows the probability and you see the lines going?
And it was at 90. It was over 96.
My favorite one still is looking at the graph from the Vikings-Baltimore game in the snow last year. Because
that had to just go crazy.
It literally went from 99 Vikings, 99 Ravens, 99 Vikings to Ravens, and it was that is the most improbable possibility ever. They probably didn't know what to do.
Do you think my favorite coaching decision made by the Packers was after they were behind, it's 22-19.
Uh-huh. With a minute and change left.
I'm talking later. So it's 4th down and there's 19 seconds left.
Okay.
And they're going to kick the field goal. And they call the timeout with 19 seconds left.
Why?
Because they're morons.
I mean, I guess not a lot's going to happen, and I guess maybe you want to talk about it, but I mean,
it looked like a coach who didn't know what was going on, didn't know the scenario, and just panicked and just because there's 19 seconds left. Wait till the clock ticks down to 3 seconds. Call the timeout. This is
guarantee overtime.
How basic of a decision is that? And McCarthy just timeout! Give me a timeout! It's like, what on earth are you how could you possibly get that wrong?
I was listening to the end of the game on my satellite radio, and I did find it hilarious. I didn't know I knew what the score was, but I didn't know that the Packers had scored the field goal yet because I had been on the phone. But it was the Seahawks line up, and the announcer said, Green Bay has every single body that's a defensive back on the field. And, Seattle's going to take a knee. And I was like, what just happened? Did I miss something? And then I realized it.
Yeah, they called a timeout, and it's like, how can you not understand what the game scenario is in that situation? Also, I loved that they were ahead 16-0. The Seahawks had done nothing all game long.
No,
absolutely nothing.
Nothing does not adequately describe it. It was negative. How can you actually have?
Well, they had that drive.
Didn't he have a 0 passer rating for the longest time?
For I think the first half.
I'm pretty sure it was. Was it the second quarter? I heard that he had no completions as a quarterback.
Yes.
Wilson?
Yeah. And for a while, he had more completions to the Packers than he did to the Seahawks. That's
insane.
And so they've done nothing other than that drive.
Okay.
All game long. And I guess McCarthy really likes field goals, so he must think everyone's an idiot like him. So they don't even prepare for the possibility that the field goal attempt might be a fake on 4th and 3 or whatever it was. It wasn't a long distance. And, of course, it is a fake because Pete Carroll isn't as big of an idiot as Mike McCarthy, and he doesn't have this fetish where he gets hard every time he sees a ball kicked through the uprights.
What?
That's the only reason I can understand.
Hold on. Conventional wisdom says you take the points. What Pete did was not conventional.
He did what he needed to do to win that game.
Desperate times call
and it
for
was
desperate
desperate.
measures.
But you have to be aware that, holy shit, the other team is desperate. This is a short-ish field goal. At least have some preparedness.
Sure. I will say, though, I have watched that play, and if you're going to leave someone open, you might as well leave the random offensive lineman open, because they're just big, dopey linemen. So I'm not as upset. And, yeah, they look to
I
be
think if you're
chasing
playing
him
Madden
rather well.
in that spot, what you do is you just call a nickel defense. And don't even go for the field goal play. Oh, you want to go? You want to make this 16-3? Good for you. You can have the 3 points.
See, I'm a gambler. I would have done goal line defense. Every single person on that line and freaked them the F out.
That goes back also to the 4th and 1s at the goal. Now, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but if all the fans of the other team, if all the fans of the other team are like, yes, you're kicking a field goal, it's probably a bad idea to kick the field goal.
Probably.
Yeah, you never want to make the fans of the opposite team happy. Sometimes there might be situations where it makes some amount of sense, but generally, if you are exciting the fans of the other team, it's probably a pretty questionable coaching decision.
Have I told you how much I love your brain and how it works?
I'm not the one that came up with that.
I've been watching football for a long time, and at no point have I actually thought to myself, I don't want to make the opposing team's fans happy. I don't think about them. Other than if I talk to a Bears fan, I might die because I hate them so much. Not the fans, the Bears, that I will probably cause them to want to murder me. That's why I don't go to Chicago games. Even though I kind of want to. Just to experience it. I would effing fight them. I need to be old and in a wheelchair so I can't.
So those are my thoughts on the game. What are your thoughts on the game?
I feel like we actually described how we feel about the game. I feel bad for all those Packer people that are my friends, but as I put on Facebook, Green Bay, welcome to the postseason. Come have a seat next to us, the NFC North, because it doesn't matter how far you go. If you don't win, you're in the same spot as everyone else. Especially if you don't make it to the big dance. So you don't make it to the Super Bowl. That's fine. But guess where you're watching the Super Bowl? At home like we are. So really you're no better. It doesn't matter.
Speaking of watching the Super Bowl at home, we are considering hosting the Super Bowl here.
I like how it's we. Are we roommates? Can I move in? We have to cuddle. I'm sharing a bed with you.
Wow, that escalated quickly. I don't know if that'll happen.
You sleep naked? So will I. Wait, what? You don't know if what will happen?
The Super Bowl party here. I'm not convinced I'm going to offer it. It's out as a thought.
Well, I am inviting people, and you put it on our Facebook page.
I said if it happened, because the thing is, I am gone all next week to work on an orphanage in Mexico.
You know what I hear from your mouth? Blah, 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 I'm a dirty whore. So it doesn't matter what else is going on.
So I will be coming back late Saturday. That's not giving me a lot of time to mentally prepare to host a Super Bowl.
You don't have to mentally prepare.
You have to prepare things.
Like what?
Food. Entertainment. The house should not look like this.
We don't have a camera. I will describe it for everyone. There are several couches arranged in a very odd format. There are 2 pinball machines that are framing the outside patio door very nicely. And one randomly, or is it two?
Well, there's just random stuff just in random areas.
And a treadmill in the middle of the living room.
Well, there's cans on that counter and light bulbs and all sorts of stupid junk.
I feel like
There's
that would
trash.
be really easy to fix. I'm talking about fixtures and furniture. You're talking about
I don't
cans.
have many seats either.
Who cares?
I'm just, well, since you're co-hosting, you can help prepare the house for guests and food
I'll tell you what.
and entertainment.
I'll tell you what. You give me a key while you're gone. Don't worry about the house. I'll make sure it's.
I need
prepped
a ride
and ready
to the
go.
airport.
When?
3:00
In the-
Saturday morning.
What the?
I have to be in Texas at noon.
So get a later flight. At 3:00 in the morning.
Well, if the flight's at 5.
What flight? No. You first off. No.
Okay. This feels like a good spot for this. Sticky and I, you might have noticed, have been fighting.
I feel like they don't notice because this is how we are all the time. It's behind the scenes we've been fighting.
Well, you didn't share the status for the last podcast, I know. You just shared the link.
I didn't see it. I'm not on.
Wait, you didn't see the description for the last podcast?
I didn't. Facebook likes to hide things from me, and I'm not on it very often.
But you shared everything but... Like, you shared the link, but you didn't see the story that came with the link. And you specifically did not share the story that went with the link. You really didn't read it.
No, I didn't see it. What is it? Should I be scared?
I thought this was another purposeful avoiding...
You?
Avoiding putting things on your wall that you don't like. Because it seems like when I have a status of this sort, sometimes things don't get shared correctly on your wall, but when it's not...
Well, I don't use Facebook often, so if I'm incorrectly sharing things, it's only because I don't know I'm supposed to be doing it differently. I click the share button, and I post. I have no idea what happens after that.
I'm really disappointed. I was looking forward to hearing your reaction to this week's synopsis. Or that week's synopsis.
What was it?
Would you like to read it?
Should I read it out loud for our
Well, don't read
many
it
friends?
silently for a podcast.
Good call. Even though Sticky is a jerk, well done. We did a podcast, and the intern is back to occasionally making his voice heard also. That's actually a period in the middle of that. Also,
That's a comma.
Is that a comma?
Yes.
Then why'd you capitalize also? No, I meant before also.
Oh.
Look at us breaking down grammar. Also, if you're surprised because you thought there wouldn't be a podcast this week, that's because Sticky said there wouldn't be one. That's a lie. So don't worry. In this week's podcast, the bun accidentally identifies himself for the first time, but only by the first name, so his secret is probably still safe. To our 3 people who know us personally.
Yep.
Because if
And
we
I've
were...
invited all these people to my house now.
You have, and one has responded. He also wears pants. Oh, okay. I mean, I think we all assume you wear pants since I'm always asking you to take them off.
I wear shorts normally.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about that. Sticky stubbornly refuses to acknowledge we didn't skip a week because we didn't.
But you said last week we did. Or 2 weeks ago we did.
No, we did skip a week.
We didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Shut up.
We did skip a week. The bun discusses what he saw in the Cowboys-Lions game, and then the two discuss the Packers-Cowboys game and wonder why is Aaron Rodgers so angry. He's a serial killer, that's why. How exactly can you be dating Olivia Munn and not be happy? True, very specific question. Can we somehow make him happy so he stops hurting us? That would be nice. Sticky has some ideas which would only make things worse. What was that idea?
You and me making him happy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm a terrible human being. He also realized that he's going to have to move to Utah with the Hansons just as soon as they legalize polygamy gay marriage in order to be able to fulfill his life stream. Absolutely. Good luck on that. Thank you. They also give their picks on other games and wonder how long Brady will be at the Pats and what's his new deal mean in relation to that. And then some minor Vikings news, all in this edition of Sticky's Jerk Face, or Sticky Buns. I am not a jerk face.
So that's how people would know we were fighting.
Okay.
But I have bought you a peace offering.
Okay.
Is
it sexual in nature?
It is not, which I know is a disappointment to you.
Slightly, but also a relief.
But you also agreed that you would use it in its intended fashion.
No, hold on. We talked about this before the podcast today. I said I would try because I don't trust what's in this box.
This is the type of thing, if you try, you will be able to do it.
I believe I can do it. I don't think it's an impossible task. It's more of a, what am I going to have to do that bothers me?
Well, this is why I want you to promise you will use it.
I said I will try.
Do you have any idea what it is?
I literally have no idea.
It is something you love.
I am terrified.
Treated horribly.
I am terrified. Something I love treated horribly.
Yep. It is not Christian Ponder's penis cut off and put in a box.
Well, good, because it needs to be on him. I love him.
Yep. You may open it. And you have to use it and talk to us about it next time.
What is this?
Ah, no! Yes!
This is illegal in the United States.
It is not illegal.
Buying Dragon Ball Evolution is illegal in every single state.
It apparently is not, because I did, and I've got it for you, and I can't wait to hear your
review. I need
review.
to call the police. I've seen it. Unfortunately, you can't unsee this a second time. Why would this is not a peace offering? Oh, you are an
It's
a-hole.
A passive-aggressive peace offering.
This is
it's not passive.
Very negatively aggressive.
Well, see, like I said, it's
why
something...
would you do that?
Well, here's the thing.
You're such
I am
an
a
a-hole.
32-year-old man, and you put me in timeout.
You are an a-hole.
I am not a 3-year-old man. I am not a 2-year-old. I am a 32-year-old, and you put me in timeout.
I'm thinking of murdering you right as we speak. And then I'm going to desecrate your body. Why would you do this?
Because it's something you love treated poorly.
I'm really hoping if I open this that there's really no disc in it and they forgot. No!
We can
I
go
hate
through
you
this
so
together.
much. No one, not even you, should be subjected to this.
No, I shouldn't be, but I would only allow myself to be
God.
subjected to it to watch you watch it. Like, it would be on over there, and I would just be staring at you the entire time.
Okay, let's talk about this and why it's the most horrific thing you could have done. I love Dragon Ball Z. Love. Like, I have it tattooed around my arm, up my arm, onto my chest. It's a half sleeve. I have every single episode in American. I have every episode in Japanese.
Is that true?
Every episode in Japanese with English subtitles.
I did not know that.
100% true.
Well, that's just one thing, because it's DVDs and it has all three of those, right? Or do you have separate discs?
No. These are VHS, my friend.
Okay, do you have separate VHSs of the Japanese and the English?
Yes.
Wow.
So I essentially have 3 copies of every single episode. And I have more than that because some people started getting me the DVDs because I ask for it every Christmas. I have a Goku statue. Actually, I don't anymore because someone broke it, and I will murder them.
Who broke your Goku statue?
It was a couple of years ago while we were moving. It fell and broke. Sad. I got it in Mexico. Speaking of Mexico, I am in love with Dragon Ball Z. I wrote a persuasive paper on it in college.
Did you?
What
was the theme of the paper?
Why every child should be subjected to watching Dragon Ball Z.
Did you use the word subjected?
I did, because it teaches good morals.
It does not.
It does
Goku
too.
is a horrible father.
I didn't have that part in my conversation. It was a negotiation. I got 99%, the highest grade he's ever given, and it's framed on his wall currently. I love Dragon Ball Z. I know Every year on January 1st, I send some friends, not you because you don't have a phone that you actually use. Well, now you kind of do because I forced you to. But I send some of my friends quotes to abide by for the year, and they are always Dragon Ball Z quotes. I hate you. So, Hollywood, I don't even know what studio produced this. 20th Century, of course, because they're assholes. Decided it was a good idea to bank off the Funimation Dragon Ball Z anime show and make a live-action show. Of course, they didn't go with Dragon Ball Z. That would be apparently too complicated. They went with Dragon Ball, which is Goku as a kid. Which
he's not in this movie.
He's not. He's a high schooler, so it's more like a mix. And they called it Dragon Ball Evolution. It stars Justin Chatwin. He does have nice hair in it. It stars Emma Rossum. She is a foxy lady. And what's his name as Yoshi? Or Master Roshi. What's his name? Chow Yun-Fat?
I don't know.
Yeah, packed with spectacular visual effects, high-flying action, and over an hour of hard-hitting extras. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Over an hour of extras.
Brings the legend to life as never before. It doesn't. For a multitude of reasons. The story isn't even correct. They meet Piccolo, and I can't remember who does Piccolo, but I like the actor. And Piccolo is a bad guy at first, but not when Goku's a teenager. And Goku's emo. Goku is not emo.
Is he really?
In this, he's emo.
I mean, I have not seen it. I saw the Honest Trailers clip of it, and it was hilarious, and so...
My God.
I honestly, for some reason, when you opened the box, I thought, like I had pictured this in my mind, I thought you would refuse to call it a movie and just insist on calling it human excrement.
I am considering breaking it as we speak.
No, see, you have to use it as intended. You have to watch it one time.
I would rather you have bought me anything else. Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm so pleased with this present.
Listen to these extras. Goku's workout featurette.
I love it.
A worked-up music video. Gag reel. A gag reel. Yeah, I hope it's the actual movie. Fox Movie Channel presents Making a Scene. Really? There are no scenes in this. And Fox Movie Channel presents Life After Film School with Justin Chatwin.
Were all these kids actually still in film school?
Effing be kidding me. And it's 85 minutes. This is so horrible, they couldn't even get it to 90. You know, movies nowadays, they're cutting down to 2 hours. You know movie's bad when it can't reach 90. And it's got so much horse shit in it that it should be 90. I effing hate you.
It's something you love treated horribly because you treated me horribly.
I would not be surprised if this has a 0 Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Oh, it can't be high.
And I do not want to know it because everyone that loves Dragon Ball Z like me, who bought tickets to the theater to watch the big Battle of the Gods movie they released in America that we had already seen online in Japanese, every one of us hates it. No one likes it. And in fact, some of us deny watching it, even though I know they have. Jesus. You're going to hell for this. I don't care what you do, this is the reason. You are going straight to hell. You could murder people and you'd be like, well, we can forgive that. You led a good life outside of that. Oh, you gave Dragon Ball Evolution to anyone. See you later. You're a son of a bitch. I thought we were friends.
You put me in timeout. I'm a 32-year-old man, and you put me in timeout. Think about that.
You forced me to uninstall Facebook Messenger.
Now, see, that's one thing. But then last time you came over, you said, nope, I'm leaving right away because you are in timeout.
Yes, because, well, first off, you wanted me to stay to watch TV with you.
Watch One Piece.
But you refused to hold my hand, or cuddle, or...
I don't think you asked.
Sword fight.
It didn't even come to that. You just said, nope, I'm not watching it. You are in timeout.
Because I was still mad at you.
Well, yeah. But you shouldn't have been.
Now I regret what I did for you and the surprise I was going to give you. It's not something tangible you can hold. Now I regret it, and I can't. It's not something I can take back.
Are you talking about planning for my tribute song?
No, not at all. Although I'm considering scrapping that 100%.
Wait, you got me something?
I did.
When?
I told you. I said, next time I come, I'll have a present for you. I'll have a surprise.
Okay. Do I still get the surprise?
Well, it's not something you tangibly can get.
Okay.
But I know that you were disappointed that I couldn't watch One Piece with you, so I've been watching it on my own to catch up to you.
Have you?
I have.
Oh, that makes me very excited.
It does not make me excited anymore because mine was thoughtful and from the heart. Yours came from a dark, deep place in your soul.
Does this sound inappropriate for our relationship?
I'm always giving for you. I'm always willing to take my clothes off. I'm willing to cuddle with you and stay over, and you give me Dragon Ball Evolution. This is worse than an STD.
That went as well as I could have hoped.
You are a horrible, horrible person. So horrible. What do you want to talk about? I don't even want to talk to you anymore. What do you want to talk about?
Well, neither of us really watched the other game.
I hate you. There was no other game. There's just me punching you in the face right now.
I wasn't surprised that Indy lost. I didn't think they were really ready for this spot.
Well, it's hard to play with deflated footballs.
No. The Patriots play with deflated footballs.
Oh, yes.
I know the joke works better the other way, but so many people have said it, but that's not the factual way that game went.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter about facts because the facts are Dragon Ball Evolution is a horrible, horrible movie, and somehow you gave it as a present.
It was a peace offering.
You know, there's that one time they asked Mark Wahlberg at Comic-Con, what's the worst movie you ever did? And he tried to be PC about it, and he just said, fuck it, The Happening. It was a terrible movie. I'm sorry I did it. You can't even get that from the cast of this goddamn movie because they don't acknowledge it exists. Justin Chatwin won't tell you it's the worst movie. He pretends it was and never in existence, that it was a bad dream, that somehow this was a nightmare he lived through. 20th Century Fox, where'd you find it?
I found it on Amazon.
Let me guess, they had like 2 in stock?
It was actually used.
You can't even find a new version.
The thing was a penny. I'm not kidding you. There's like 10 listing that's a penny, and then it was like $4 for shipping and handling.
I do not doubt that at all, and I feel you grossly overpaid.
Not for that reaction. I really enjoyed that.
You should have sent the seller a message, and he should have responded, I'll give you $150,000 to take it from me.
Are we going to watch it together?
Only if I can kill you while it happens.
All right.
Can I wear a blindfold? Can I take a nap during it? Can you be the one watching it?
No.
I can't believe I have to relive that movie. I saw it in the theater. I'm disappointed.
Did you really? You went to the movie theater to see that?
Because I didn't know it was going to be bad. The previews were horrible. Like, you had no idea what they were actually going to do. And then they effed up the whole ending. The story wasn't right at all. He turns into a monkey, which is kind of normal, but it doesn't actually... No, we're not going to get into that right now. Okay. I need some time. I may need some time away from you. We may not be able to see the Super Bowl together because I hate you that much.
I'm going to be gone all next week, so that gives you a week and a half to...
You should give me a key so I can burn down your house. I feel bad for your neighbor. I'll protect them. I'll just spray water on your wall.
I didn't think Indy was ready to be one of the top teams. I thought they got lucky last week that Peyton Manning has just completely trashed.
Sure.
Makes sense that New England is in there. Do you want to make your prediction?
Sure.
What's your prediction?
The Patriots win the Super Bowl.
I got the Seahawks. I don't think they'll play that horrible again. I don't think they can. I think they got their terrible game out of them, and I think that defense will be enough to frustrate Tom Brady and hit him a bunch, and they'll do just enough to win late. I think the Patriots will get up, but the Seahawks will come back because they are kind of a second-half team.
A little bit.
Obviously, they can't let it get as bad as it was this week.
No, they cannot.
But I think they will ultimately be the first team to repeat since the Patriots did it in 03-04.
I didn't even know that stat. Not going to lie. It doesn't matter, because literally starting next year, the Vikings are going to run off Super Bowl victories like nobody's ever seen.
You just said you weren't going to predict Vikings victory.
In my head, I've already gone over some of the moves that are going to happen, so it's different.
I look forward to the podcast after the season is over where we can talk about
the plan.
The plan.
So do I. And
I can't wait for that podcast, if I'm honest.
I think it's going to go well, and there's going to be a lot of debating.
I think so.
We might get physically angry.
But the thing is,
with
we
each other.
agree on the biggest thing, I'm guessing.
What's the biggest thing? No, we don't get to talk about it. Don't you effing dare.
Okay.
No, we don't get to talk about that. You know what the biggest thing is? We have Bridgewater.
Okay. But that's not an off-season decision that has to be made.
Correct. The biggest off-season decision would be, should we or should we not sign Christian Ponder? I want you to think about that until our next podcast. That's how much I hate you. I want you to think about that. And the restricted free agentness of Matt Asiata. That's how much I hate you. That I want you to think of those two decisions until the next podcast.
All right. Well, is that it then?
I hate you.
That's usually my
so
line.
much.
I love it.
So much.
Bye.